Major plans for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens leaked. Best and worst of WWE Raw. Seth Rollins segment on Raw brutally bashed. Bobby Lashley brutally attacked Brock Lesnar. WWE staff reportedly protest against CM Punk's WWE return. Drew McIntyre praised backstage for his commitment to WWE, and more. Let's jump right into it. Best and worst of WWE Raw. Welcome to this week's edition of the Best and Worst of Raw. It was the penultimate episode to Survivor Series War Games, and things are shaping up interestingly. One thing is for sure, this is likely to be the most entertaining edition of Survivor Series since the epic 2016 pay-per-view. It certainly helps that the brand warfare concept has been dropped, as it was being overdone. But what were the ups and downs of the episode as we head into Survivor Series? Keep watching to find out. Number 3. Best, Dominic Mysterio's sudden improvement. Dominic Mysterio is as annoying as you can hope for a heel to be. While it admittedly took him time to get his footing, joining Judgment Day was the best thing that could have happened to him. He had a confrontation with Shelton Benjamin earlier on the show, who he provoked. He was certainly annoying, and it went to show just how much he had improved. He beat Benjamin, which was also the right decision. Dominic Mysterio has gotten a lot of criticism for his character work, but he is finally making strides. Number 2. Worst, Matt Riddle's post-Extreme Rules downfall on Raw. Despite defeating Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle has had a big downfall post-Extreme Rules 2022. The Elias Alliance did nothing, and his feud against the Alpha Academy has been detrimental to him. This week, Chad Gable defeated Riddle in a big upset win. While it wasn't a bad decision to have Gable win, it highlighted how underwhelming a month the four-time champion has had in WWE. Number 2. Best, a great main event on Raw. Seth Rollins vs. Finn Balor was an epic main event on Raw. Rollins retained the United States Championship because of the OC's interference and brawl at ringside with the Judgment Day. It was a great match, and Theory's presence at the end made the end of the episode even better. It was the perfect main event with the right finish and ending to the show. Number 1. Worst, Mustafa Ali isn't getting the desired reactions. Something isn't working with Mustafa Ali. Even with a loud crowd in Louisville, Kentucky, he wasn't getting the desired response. Nobody seemed sad to see Bobby Lashley destroy him, and he seems to have been booted out of the US title picture. Hopefully, this wasn't a burial, but it showed where Ali stands right now, and it's something that Triple H needs to assess seriously. Number 1. Best, everything about Theory on Raw. WWE put out the best version of Austin Theory on Raw last night. This wasn't just the best Theory since Triple H took over, but since his formal main roster debut. It highlighted him positively, with Austin having undergone a major character transformation. He took responsibility, ran out of excuses, and the phone and the selfies were all gone. We got a serious version of Austin Theory, who Dolph Ziggler confronted. He had Ziggler beat, but that wasn't enough. He brutalized him to signal a full character shift into a more vicious heel, and his intention to regain the US title was a great touch to end the episode. The Money in the Bank briefcase worked against Theory, and tonight was the perfect example that it was an anchor for him. Seth Rollins' segment on Raw brutally bashed. Former writer Vince Russo recently spoke out against WWE's weird booking of Seth Rollins' segment this week on Raw. The Visionary opened the show this week, and WWE immediately ran a vignette recapping the events of last week. He retained the United States Championship despite Austin Theory trying to cash in on him with his Money in the Bank briefcase. As the cameras cut back to the ring, Rollins delivered a promo stating that the US title was the top belt on Monday nights because he was the one holding it. On the latest edition of Legion of Raw, Russo suggested that WWE should have run the video package before letting Seth Rollins walk out to the middle. He pointed out that the United States champion had nothing to do in the ring while the video was playing out for the fans in attendance and others watching at home. They did something very weird to open the show. They have the Rollins entrance, and then they have this long package where Rollins is standing in the ring holding his you-know-what. Bro, play the package first. Play the package to the house first, get them all excited, then play Rollins' music rather than have the guy standing in the ring for 5 minutes. In the main event of the evening, Seth freaking Rollins battled his old rival Finn Balor. In the middle of the match, Rollins hit Finn with a Falcon Arrow but was distracted by members of the Judgment Day. However, the OC and Million came out and brawled with the Gothic faction, driving them out of the arena. The Visionary then delivered the stomp to Finn for a hard-fought win. However, the celebrations were short-lived for Rollins as Austin Theory came out and attacked him. He planted the champion with 2 town downs as the show went off the air. This episode of Raw saw several superstars such as Mustafa Ali, Bobby Lashley, and the aforementioned Austin Theory lining up to challenge Seth Rollins for the United States Championship. Do you think the Visionary will prevail against this horde of new adversaries? Sound off in the comments section below. Bobby Lashley brutally attacked Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is one of the most fearsome wrestlers on the WWE roster. However, the Beast Incarnate was brought down to his knees during his recent match against Bobby Lashley, who had a message for his fellow stars. The Almighty has been in destruction mode since his feud against Lesnar started. After assaulting Seth Rollins, Mustafa Ali, and Austin Theory on Raw last week, the former WWE champion took on Ali in a singles match this week. Lashley also sent a warning to Seth Rollins before making quick work of Ali. Speaking on Raw Talk after the show, Bobby Lashley assured that he would inflict damage upon whoever stands across the ring with him. It's not anything new, it's just what I've come to understand here. You have to take what you want around here because if not, you get walked over. I played in Mr. Nice Guy for way too long and I started to get to this point. A little birdie came and told me in my ear, if you just start hurting people and taking people out, who's going to stop you? I kind of thought about that and it's true. He also reflected on his brutal match against Lesnar at Crown Jewel while claiming he is now a changed man. The biggest, baddest person around Brock Lesnar, and I threw him around like a little kid. So now after that, I come in with a change of heart and a different mind frame with everything else. Still a nice guy, but I'll hurt anybody that steps in the ring with me from now on. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley are two of the most intimidating wrestlers on the WWE roster. The duo has faced off against each other twice, with Lashley defeating Lesnar at Royal Rumble while the Beast Incarnate scored a win at Crown Jewel. Their match at Crown Jewel ended with Lashley standing tall, although it was Lesnar who won the match. The outcome led many to speculate that the two could soon lock horns in a rubber match. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer recently reported that while Lesnar vs. Lashley 3 is bound to happen, WWE may save it for WrestleMania next year. Brock Lesnar has not been seen on WWE programming since his win at Crown Jewel. Bobby Lashley, meanwhile, has been wreaking havoc on the Raw roster while consistently taking digs at his rival. WWE staff reportedly protest against CM Punk's WWE return. With Triple H now running the show in WWE and with many former stars making their returns to the company, one performer, however, that some members of personnel are reported to not be keen on coming back is CM Punk. Punk left WWE in early 2014 after his passion for the business and relationship with the company faded away. However, he has since made his comeback to wrestling, after making his debut in AEW last year. This relationship may also have soured as he has not been on All Elite Wrestling programming since his alleged backstage brawl with many of the company's top stars this past September. With Punk's current bad reputation with many people in the business, Dave Meltzer recently reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that some individuals do not want him to return to WWE. I know people in WWE who absolutely do not want him there, but they are not the people on the creative team. Everyone knows what happened in AEW. It's like, do we really want that? Do we need that? No, we don't need that. We don't really want that. Paul may just go in there and go, look what happened, we don't need it. And they don't. They don't need it, and he may just do that. If it was Vince would do it, I think, with that kind of money at stake. Despite his many controversies, CM Punk is highly regarded as one of the most popular stars of his generation, with world championship wins in WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW. Despite the fact that the Chicago native is extremely popular with many portions of the wrestling fanbase, Eric Bischoff no longer sees him as a valuable commodity to any company. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., the former WCW executive producer explained why he feels CM Punk is past his financial and athletic prime. He's old, he's fragile, he was never in great shape to begin with. He didn't start out as an athlete, and now at years old, he's fragile as hell, Bischoff said. I'm sure he still has some die-hard fans out there and all that, everybody does, but the general audience, I think he left a really bad taste in their mouth, and they realize that mystique is no longer there, and he's just another guy. So I don't see the value. I can't imagine it. Whilst Bischoff raises some thought-provoking points, it cannot be denied that a CM Punk return to WWE would make for intriguing and financially rewarding television. Do you think Triple H should bring CM Punk back? Give us your thoughts in the comments section below. Drew McIntyre praised backstage for his commitment to WWE. Drew McIntyre received major praise backstage in WWE for being a workhorse in the company. McIntyre has become one of the most reliable superstars in the promotion. The Scottish psychopath has firmly established himself as one of its top stars. He has held the WWE Championship twice but never in front of fans. Both of his reigns occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic, and McIntyre put the company on his back during the Thunderdome era. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, McIntyre has been praised backstage in WWE for his dedication to the craft, especially for his willingness to travel all over the world to perform. There were quite a few people praising Drew McIntyre for his commitment to the company as he went from the United States to Germany and Switzerland for SmackDown shows, then on to Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, then India to film what was described as a movie role the company set up with Sony, then flew right back to the United States to work the SmackDown taping, then a pair of live events, so he was on the road for several weeks straight for WWE-related appearances. The Bloodline and the Brawling Brutes have entered into a bitter rivalry on the blue brand. Sheamus made his return this past Friday after being attacked by the Bloodline on a recent edition of SmackDown. Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa beat the Brawling Brutes down before Drew McIntyre made the save. The Scottish Warrior came to the aid of his old friend Sheamus, and it appears he may join them for a potential War Games match at Survivor Series on November 26th. The Usos and Roman Reigns have been completely dominant on SmackDown as of late. Time will tell if the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre can overcome the Bloodline at Survivor Series. Which superstar would you like to see join the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre for a potential War Games match against the Bloodline? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Sami Zayn was always down since day one. A video has emerged of Sami Zayn dancing with the Usos in WWE NXT in 2014. Sami has become an honorary use in the Bloodline, much to the displeasure of Jey Uso. The tension between the two almost reached its boiling point on a recent edition of SmackDown. Roman Reigns instructed Jey and Sami to work out their differences, but it didn't go as planned. Jey mocked Sami's hair and said he can't be a part of the Bloodline because he's not blood. He also angered Roman Reigns, but the honorary use calmed matters down by suggesting that Jey simply hasn't been feeling very usey as of late. It worked, and the Bloodline have apparently set aside their differences for the time being. The segment was an instant hit with fans, and WWE on BT Sports Twitter recently joined in on the fun by posting a throwback video of Sami busting a move with the Usos in the ring. Former wrestling writer Vince Russo recently had an interesting suggestion on an episode of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Writing with Russo. Vince compared Zayn's storyline with the Bloodline to that of Bryan Danielson and the Wyatt family from 9 years ago. The thing that makes sense to me is kind of what they did with Daniel Bryan and the Wyatts. If Sami's whole game plan is he's infiltrating them from the inside, if that's the game plan, bro, and he is setting up his own family in the meantime, I think that's what you need. That's what makes sense to me, said Vince Russo. Sami missed this past Friday's edition of SmackDown due to personal reasons. It will be interesting to see when the honorary use makes his return to the blue brand. Do you think Sami Zayn could be a future world champion? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Major plans for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens leaked. Recent reports have suggested that top WWE superstar Kevin Owens was booked to do battle with Roman Reigns and his Bloodline at Survivor Series War Games on November 26th. Currently, WWE is gearing up to host its first ever main roster War Games match with Roman's Bloodline faction set to make up one of the teams, while Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and the Brawling Brutes are set to make up the other with the addition of a fifth member. Many were hoping that Kevin Owens would be the fifth man on their team, given his history with Roman and the Bloodline's honorary use and once best friend Sami Zayn. However, this past weekend, Owens suffered a knee injury, putting him on the shelf. In a recent report on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer stated that WWE had big plans for him before he got hurt. I believe he was going to be in the War Games match. He was supposed to be a surprise, so it adds up he'd be in the War Games match. He'd be the last guy against the Bloodline in that match because of him and Sami Zayn. If that were the case, this could cost him that. I think they may have to reshuffle that one and come up with a new guy on Friday. 2022 has been a huge year for Owens, most notably when he welcomed Stone Cold Steve Austin back into the ring at WrestleMania in April, with the two stars main eventing night one. We wish Kevin Owens a speedy and healthy recovery. For more than 800 days, the head of the table has ruled over WWE as the Universal Champion, and since WrestleMania 38 has been the undisputed champion. With many stars unsuccessful in their attempts to beat Roman Reigns, former WWE star EC3 recently stated on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Outlaws that Sami Zayn could be the one to end Roman's title reign. So, why can't it go to the top? If people are reacting to it, what kind of moment can be sustained if it goes all the way through, and he's the one who unseats Roman Reigns? The craziest long reign in WWE history. To have that happen because it's naturally built, there's no intention for this to be a thing as much as we'll throw them in, whatever. Roman Reigns' most recent title defense came on November 5th when he faced off against YouTuber turned pro wrestler Logan Paul at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia in what was a highly entertaining match. Which WWE superstar should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns? Let us know in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me